Guys, welcome back to For Love and Justice. Today I have one of my best friends with me, Christopher, Chris Eden, Topher, all the names. And we are talking about the new Washington state law. Has it passed?
It passed, and I think it is about to either go into effect this week or next week, unless they do something.
Okay. But before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, this episode is brought to you by Ground News. Ground News lets you see how different media outlets cover the same story, helping you spot bias and get the full picture. I only partner with brands that align with For Love and Justice's mission, and Ground News is a perfect fit. Informed, intentional, and rooted in critical thinking. Sign up today and start seeing the news differently.
Fighting evil by the moonlight, winning love by daylight.
Okay, now we can yap.
And I'd never heard of them before.
Ground News?
Yeah. And so I went and looked. It's really interesting.
Yes, it is really interesting.
Yeah. So go explore.
Okay, so what is the law about? So, Washington recently passed a law requiring clergy to report suspected child abuse or neglect to authorities, even if the information comes from a confession. This move eliminates the previous clergy penitent, is that how you say that? Privilege that protected such confessions from mandatory reporting. Why it's controversial. The Catholic Church has strongly opposed this law, arguing that it violates the sanctity of confession. Oh man, the Archdiocese, thank you, of Seattle stated that, I should have gone over this with you before. Jesus Christ. That priests who comply with the law and break the confidentiality of confession would face excommunication. No
bueno.
I forgot to mention that you're Catholic.
I am Catholic, yes.
Chris is my friend, but he's also Catholic. That's why he's here.
Those don't have to be mutually exclusive.
No, they don't. I think you're my only Catholic friend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Okay. In my head...
Maybe that's not true.
In my head, I feel like there's a lot of us, but
yeah.
I went to Catholic elementary school, I went to a Catholic high school.
You're very Catholic.
I was in a bubble.
Some might say a devout Catholic.
Oh my gosh. But I always think that there's more than there actually are. I think we're only like 3% of the population in Arkansas.
Really?
Or something. It's very small, whatever it is.
Huh.
Yeah.
I do know someone else who's Catholic.
There you go.
Sorry, I've been like sitting here thinking about it.
But yeah, so Catholics love a hierarchy. So an archdiocese is like a state, basically. So they're centered around cities. So like the states make up the U.S. Archdioceses make up the like ruling areas. So you have the Little Rock Diocese covers the entire state of Arkansas. Not all of them cover a whole state, and then above that, you have an archdiocese, and so our archdiocese region reports to Oklahoma City, and then you have like regions, and then you get to the U.S., like the Conference of Catholic Bishops in the U.S., and they report to that kind of thing. Huh. So it's like smaller levels of government, basically within the church.
It's like an MLM. It's all connected. It's all connected. Okay, so what do you think about this new law?
Yeah, so...
Oh, and what do you think about Trump calling it anti-Catholic? That's the other, like, controversial thing. That's the branding.
This is not a secret that I'm, like, not a fan of Monsieur Trump. But I also just think that that's really rich to say it's anti-Catholic, but then also 3 days after the Pope dies, post a picture of you in Pope regalia and stuff.
It was a joke. You can't take a joke, Chris?
Ooh, well, a lot of the American bishops
That's what he
did
said.
not take it as a joke.
Yeah.
Even the ones that are his friends, like Cardinal Dolan or whatever his name is from New York, did not appreciate it either. And he's friendly with the president.
So we don't appreciate the comments.
We don't appreciate it. But it's also not a surprise for him to say something like that. That's like, I don't know, talking about both sides out of his mouth. You know what I mean? That's also what, he's supposed to be clamping down on universities because they're anti-Semitic. Anyway, So yeah, besides
Anti-bias.
that. And so I need to go back and look at the particular wording, but I think Catholics are the only ones that have, this is like a sacrament of ours, like reconciliation. And so it is very like strictly, pointedly at Catholics and not any other religion. And I feel like once you start, we might talk about this later in the rapid fire, but once you start singling out small groups of people, I feel like that's when like the hairs on the back of my neck stand up and it's like, what's going on here? So I think that is what is most anti-Catholic about it, is that it's really a law of singling them out specifically. And it's like there are other people who perpetrate bad things other than just like Catholic priests.
Yeah. That's why I'm so excited to pick your brain about this today, because I'm all for protecting children, but we also need to protect freedom of religion.
Yes.
Or did I say that right?
Yeah.
Freedom of religion. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it makes me, the first time I heard about it, a lot of times, the first time I hear about things, I have about 40 more questions of like, but this and this and this and this and this. And so my first thought was like, what? And like, do they even understand? They didn't, it was more like, well, they don't know what they're talking about. And then also like, why are they doing this? Are they specifically trying to protect like Catholic children? And is this really the best way to do that?
Yeah, because humble brag, you found out about this through me.
Yes,
right? Because I posted the story.
I didn't know. And I have a brother who lives in Washington State.
But I really just saw the headline and was like, town
Yeah.
crier. Sound the alarm.
Yes.
And then you actually did research.
Yeah. So, anyway, so it was mostly about, my questions were initially about like, what prompted this? Like, are you trying to solve a problem of like an epidemic of priests who perpetrate abuse against children? Are you trying to solve, like save specifically Catholic children, because this doesn't do anything for like Baptist children or Methodist children or whatever else? And so I think that those questions are also unclear about what the actual intent of this law is. So, yeah.
Very interesting. How do you think this law infringes on religious freedoms?
Yeah, and so for, like I said, because it's so specifically Catholic, so Catholics believe...
Oh my god, you answered that.
No, well, you can go into it more in terms of like... So we have sacraments. We believe they're very, very important. So like the Eucharist is a sacrament. That's what distinguishes us Catholics from like Protestants. Like we don't think it's a symbol of take this body and body and blood of Christ. Like we think that's we don't think that's a symbolic thing. What else? Marriage is one. Reconciliation, which is what this law is about. We go to priests for reconciliation and tell them our sins, and he, as a conduit to God, then like absolves us of our sins. And so that's like what that whole sacrament is about. And so this doesn't even affect just specifically like child abuse. Like if someone went and told a priest that he murdered somebody, they're not allowed.
Yeah, I would open up all kinds of...
Right.
It would open up Pandora's box.
Yeah, well, and so it's like the priest then is also not supposed to go and tell law enforcement. Like he's bound by that sacrament.
Right.
So it's not just like this one thing. It's like anything that's said in that moment is not supposed to then to be shared with anybody else. And that's supposed to get you to like open up to God and like tell the truth and all this stuff.
It's supposed to be a safe space.
Yes. But so there are also like just other little things that like sometimes it's done face to face, but there's also, you've certainly seen it in movies and stuff, there's like a screen in between them. So, maybe even if somebody was confessing this thing, the priest might not even know who it is. So then how is he supposed to go and report, that somebody said...
Someone at the church.
Right. whatever.
And then ICE raids.
Right. Right. It's like, I don't know. So they're like, that's what made me think of like, they don't know what they're talking about. Because there's so many like individual process things that are like, well, if that was an instance, like, is he supposed to report that someone said it? But like, I don't know who it is because I wasn't looking at that person. That kind of thing. So.
These are good questions.
Yeah.
People don't like to think that hard.
Right. Well, you always, I don't know. That is a thing. I feel like we've talked about this before. If like people try to make a law and then it gets into practice and it's like, oh, well then this affects this and this and this. And we never thought about that before. It's like, no, duh, you didn't. Because you never asked those questions because you don't know. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, I think that's why it's so specific to like anti-religious, because it is about one particular aspect of one religion. So
I'm going through my questions.
Yeah.
I've already answered a couple. I love it. I love it. We talked about this question. I started to take it out and you were like, I like it. What misconceptions do you think people have about Catholic voters?
Ooh, I think this applies.
We're jumping topics here, but it's
related.
loosely related.
Yeah, I think this applies to a lot of people, like Black voters or Latino voters or whatever. I think that people have a sense of Catholic voters as being like one issue, especially like abortion. Like that is the church's stance. But and we've talked about this outside of it. I feel like my Catholic upbringing is very unusual. I don't know, but I was always told
You weren't a regular Catholic. You were a cool Catholic.
Well, and like I guess I don't even know like what that means, but like we were taught very like interreligious. Like, yeah, I guess this is like a post-Vatican II thing, which was like a big like reform of the church in the 60s and 70s. So like during that time, the priests like stood and faced the wall, and the church only spoke Latin and all that kind of stuff. That's when my dad was growing up, and now he faces the congregation. The whole thing's in English, or if you go to Mexico, it's in Spanish. You know, it's in the local language, all that kind of stuff. And so I feel like my dad was taught like, if people aren't Catholic, they're going to hell. And I was never taught that. I was always taught that like, we're all different flavors of or like the importance of a higher being or something, and that there's all like, even non-Christian faiths, like there are certain specific threads that are so common in all of them that like those are like almost universal truths of like goodness and all kinds of stuff like that. So they're different. It's like they're just a different flavor, and that's fine. Anyway, and so
we're millennials too. So
yes,
I mean,
yeah, and that
chill.
also is like just how I am as a person. But
yeah, you're an INFJ. Oh yeah,
J or P. Yeah.
J, you're like right on the line.
Yeah. But anyway, so what? Back up. I feel like
misconceptions. About Catholic
okay,
voters.
and so I feel like a lot of the Catholics that I know, and I feel like they've even done like surveys across the nation, and like the majority of Catholics support reproductive rights. And so I don't know, thinking of us as like a singular issue on like, even though the church's stance is anti-abortion, like, I don't know. Since I was taught there were so many, like, you can look at things in such different ways. And so, like, I know you and I have talked about before, like, a lot of people have notions of, like, abortion as, like, taking a full-grown baby at, like, 8 months and, like, ripping it out. And that's not what it is.
No.
And, like, there are so many medical things that are necessary, that need to happen, and that are considered abortions that people don't know about or like understand truly. And like, I don't think that would be classified as like the same kind of extreme as like an 8-month baby in the womb being.
Well, and hospitals don't have to provide life-saving abortions now.
Right.
I guess Trump rolled back that Biden era regulation.
It's always been tricky with Catholics too, because we have like St. Vincent is a Catholic hospital, and I want to say it was after the Affordable Care Act, like they got rid of their like they don't have a birthing unit anymore because they would have to, you know, be able to provide certain types of care that they getting funding from the church were just like not comfortable performing. But that's something that they decided to do, and you know, like Baptist Hospital still has all of their birthing units and all that kind of other stuff. So it's like, I don't know, they made their choice, and if that was what they wanted to do. But
period.
Yeah. There's just, I feel like there's nobody like forced them to have a, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't a government mandated like force you to have, if you're a hospital, you have to have a birthing center. That was their choice. And so, you know, there are ways to like, I feel like there's always like give and take. Yeah. So.
Love that. How do you think the church should balance the sanctity of confession with the need to protect children?
Yeah, that's where
that's a loaded fucking question.
Well, so that's my question of like, are you assuming that a lot of priests,
these confessions are going on?
Yes. In my opinion, I don't know that if someone is doing something that terrible, I feel like they're not that devout to also go to confession. You know what I mean? To then like have to go tell a priest that I did this, so can you forgive me for it? That is just probably not something that's going to happen in my head, but maybe it does. I don't know. But then also I feel like that's the assumption of like there are a lot of priests who like know about this that are concealing it, and I don't necessarily know that that's true either. And so there are a lot of things I feel like that, like pastoral care is just basically like almost like therapy, kind of like talking to, I feel like a priest could do that, which is outside of confession. And all of that is like fair game of you need to seek help, then you need to be reporting this to so-and-so. But there's also, I mean, if this is going on in like Catholic schools or other organizations, there's like,
they're mandated reporters.
I was going to say, right, exactly. Like you need to have programs where like teachers need to be looking for certain things and reporting it and all this kinds of stuff. So I feel like there are larger structures that should be on the lookout for this. And in my opinion, this seems like one of the last places that this kind of like information would be. Like this isn't the crux of where this information is held. So
this is the seal.
Yeah.
We must break the seal. Okay, what do you have anything else you wanted to say on it before we go to rapid fire and like games and stuff? I want to make sure you get it all out.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was pretty much it.
Okay.
Just the point of like, I don't know. For me, I feel like this is not the singular place where all of this information is being held, and
you
there's
feel like
a lot of
they're being singled out.
Yes. Yeah. Or this one moment is
Capitalizing on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Period.
But yeah, if you want to do rapid fire, I don't know how rapid it's going to be.
It never is. It's fine.
And I'm especially a shades of gray kind of person.
Yes.
Of like, if this, then that. If this, then that.
Oh, no, I love it. If this, then that.
I had to make notes for it.
What do you want people to take away about faith and policy before we move on to rapid fire?
That's a good, I don't know. It's such a delicate balance. And I feel like that, I know a lot of people are I appreciate shades of gray and like trying to define that line. And I think it's a constantly moving thing. That might be the like product manager in me of like, do a little bit, see how it works. There will be parts that don't. So edit, come back and edit, come back and edit, come back and edit. But I feel like a lot of people are just like, especially when it comes to faith, that it's like, this is it. But
it's literal.
Yes.
It's a hard line.
But unfortunately for those people, and happily for me, that we live in a society where we have many different faiths, many different we have people of no faith, we have people of agnostic faith, and so I don't know.
Freedom of religion is freedom from religion.
Yes.
That's why I got tripped up earlier. I was like, it goes both ways.
And I just think that there's a lot in there that like we can appreciate about each other, where no one thing has to dominate. That's where I feel like we get ourselves into trouble, is thinking that one thing has to be the dominant viewpoint.
I'm right, so everyone else must be wrong.
Right, exactly, which is not always the case.
Never the case.
You know that.
Never the case. I know that. I do not know that. I'm always right. Especially around Chris.
Oh.
Chris is... I surround myself with smart people.
There you
and you're
go.
one of the smartest people. He sets me straight sometimes. And I love it. Don't forget to join my Facebook group.
Yeah.
It's called For Love and Justice, and sound off about what you think about this new Washington state law.
There you
And
go.
do you agree with Chris? I do.
Also get in there and really punch Elise's buttons. Get her fired up. I love getting her fired up. Talking shop and getting her fired up.
There's nothing you could say, though, because it's just engagement.
Well, that's
Like,
that's
someone
true.
talk to me.
That's true. That is true.
Got attention. Okay, rapid fire questions. Okay, filibuster. Keep it or kill it.
Yeah. In my perfect world, we're not in a perfect world.
No.
In reality,
We're certainly not.
yeah. In reality, keep it with some different guardrails. Like, but right now, if we didn't have it, Mr. Trump and his party would be doing whatever they wanted to. So it's always a double-edged sword. But maybe you can keep it, but keep it just for. Right now, it kills. You can't even like bring something up for debate unless you have the 60 votes. So maybe do away with that part and just keep
51.
it for 60.
No, I know. I'm saying like maybe. Like,
Oh yeah. Maybe make it 51.
Yeah.
Maybe make it. Maybe keep it in place just for the actual vote to become law, not even just to bring it up for discussion. But anyway, or maybe you could do the opposite. So like instead of needing 60 votes to pass it, if you get like fewer than 40 people that don't want it, sorry, we're moving ahead. Like it has to be above 40 people that don't want it at all. You know what I mean?
Like a disapproval rate.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't
These
know
are
if that would help.
creative thoughts.
But in a perfect world, I would get rid of the entire Senate completely.
OT.
Yeah. Then too bad. There is no filibuster. We would have proportional representation in the House of Representatives. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
I love that.
Get rid of the Senate.
I was going to say period again, but then it's like, say period again. Say crack again. Okay, biggest political red flag on a first date.
Ooh.
I'm really interested to hear this.
Okay, see, this is what I had in my mind when we were talking about earlier. For me, once you start getting into this subset of people, this small group of people can't do this, can't do that. That's when I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, unless it's like
stereotypes.
Right, yeah. Or like immutable characteristics too. Like women can't, or this gender expression can't, or the whatever it may be. I feel like once you're siloing people to those kind of things, I'm like, what's going on here? That doesn't seem appropriate.
All the kids are trans.
Unless it's like, like murderers can't blood. I'm like, okay, yeah.
You don't like murderers.
No, I don't.
Yeah, Chris does not like murderers.
Either that, or I just want to hear like an argument from your side. And if you're just parroting back to me something you've heard and you have no like thought process behind what you believe, then I'm like, I'm out of here. That's what I need. An actual explanation. Yeah.
So okay, Chris and I have been friends for years and years and years. So we've seen each other change and grow. Because if you're growing, you're changing.
If you're growing, you're changing. Shout out bridesmaids.
Yes. So is that, you said I've changed. Like, Is that
Yes, you have.
I used to just be like a
No, I
little,
don't think so.
not bobblehead, not parrot, but I think more critically now.
Yes, you do. You do.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I keep you around. You question me.
But there are other people that I have in my life that are friends that are not of the same political beliefs as me, and I can talk to them and we can have a conversation even about political things.
Because they've thought about it.
Yes, because they have like a viewpoint, I guess, and yeah.
Okay, that makes sense,
see
and
what I
that
mean?
brings new light to, like, my dad has always said, like, I don't care if you disagree with me or have a different opinion, just, like, be able to back it up, and that's
Yes.
kind of, I think, what you're saying.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I want to know that you've thought
Yes.
about it, and,
Yes.
like, critically.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are not rapid fire. Most underrated political... What is...
Thinkers?
Thinkers.
Yeah. If you don't follow James Tellerico, and he's been popping off some on TikTok. He's a state senator in Texas. My friend Sam is friends with him. He is great. He's my age. He's like 35. He is a former elementary school teacher, and he's in seminary right now to become an Episcopalian minister, maybe. So and he just talked about, like, he's a Democrat standing up there talking about why in Texas we don't need to have the 10 Commandments posted in elementary schools. As a minister, as a former school teacher. And so, anyway,
Those
he's
are
just
the kind
great.
of voices we need.
Yes, exactly. He's great. So, but
I'll find his handle and put it on here.
he's great. You need to go follow him. I think he's going to do big things someday.
Maybe not on here. I'm motioning like the camera's still
It'll
going,
be right
and
here.
it's probably not.
So he's an actual politician. I mean, Ezra Klein is really big, but I don't know.
I love Ezra Klein.
Yeah, I don't know if many people know about him our age, because they would have to read the New York Times editorial page to follow him.
Yes.
Also, if you don't know Michael Harrington, he wrote The Other America, which basically became... It was about, like, poverty that was going unseen in America, and income inequality. And so LBJ's, all of his big, like, war on poverty stuff came from that book. And he's Catholic educated. Yeah. Anyway, so all of that, like, food stamps, Social Security, AmeriCorps Vista, all that stuff came from his book. And it was implemented, like, 2 years after the book was published. So we have a big social safety net from that book. Yeah. And
I'm impressed. I thought you were going to say Elizabeth Warren.
oh, that's for later.
I'm sure. I literally
That's for
was about to
later.
say, I'm sure
Yeah.
you're saving her.
But also, you need to watch that FX. What was that FX show about? It was like women in politics and the ERA and stuff like that, because Phyllis Schlafly.
Oh, yes, I did watch that.
Yes, it's so
what
good.
was that called? I don't remember.
I forget it now too, but
Mrs. America?
Miss America.
Miss America?
I think that's what it was. But so
we might
that's
be thinking
someone.
of Miss Americana, which is Taylor Swift.
Oh, that's Taylor Swift, who is surrounding us.
Yeah,
at
she's
all times.
everywhere.
But Phyllis Schlafly, I think, is the opposite of those people. Like, she has impacted our politics so much for the negative.
Yes.
And under the radar, like, people don't think about her, but she really, all of that.
Oh, I
like,
think about her all the time because
really?
of that
Yeah.
show. Because of
Yeah.
that show.
I mean, and she truly, like a grassroots movement of conservative, like, I don't know, stay-at-home moms, but also she's, like, Harvard educated and but wanted women to, like, stay at home.
Well, she didn't stay at
While
home.
she didn't stay at home, while she was outside, like, campaigning and, like, got Reagan president, and anyway, all that kind of stuff.
Thanks, Phyllis. Thanks so much.
Thanks, girl.
Okay, you can abolish one federal agency. Which one?
Okay, I think my biggest pet peeve right now is that the administrator of small business administration is elevated to a cabinet level position. That's Kelly Loeffler. She was the Georgia senator who raised a big stink in 2020 against...
I was going to say, about what?
Yeah, about certifications and stuff like that. Anyway, I don't think that should be a cabinet level position. It's not like it was. I think Obama elevated it. And
Oh,
Trump.
did
It's one of those that, like, it's not one of the normal. You can choose to, like, bring it in. I don't think needs to be there. It's not that important. Anyway, but so that's not getting rid of it, but it should go back down where it belongs.
Be demoted.
Be demoted. But I think this is something that you will be on your big high horse about. The Export-Import Bank of the United States is a whole agency that in theory is supposed to help us like export our goods and services across the world. I think since like the mid 2000s, 60 to 70% of the funding of it has gone completely to Boeing, so that people buy from Boeing.
Also, can we talk about every time I hear Boeing, I think Bo and Yang. Every single time.
Oh my gosh. It's not Bo and Yang does not get money from this.
Oh, I wish he did.
I know, he should.
Bless him.
But I just feel like that's one of your big cases, is that it is a large corporate handout.
Yeah.
From
corporate welfare queen.
It truly is corporate welfare. And anyway, that can go.
Period. That can go. I like that.
Yes.
Okay. Dream Supreme Court Justice lineup. Who's on your bench?
Okay. So
I gave you like some really like
these
thinkers.
Are very good questions. I will have you know.
ChatGPT.
This was so much fun.
I love just like seeing what it's gonna give me, and I'm like, oh.
Oh, that's lovely. I'll put that in.
Yeah.
So here's my clarification. Do you want currently living like could be, or any past that like have died also?
Let's do half and half.
Okay. Oh, if I were president today, I would make them all
kill
women.
everyone first of all.
Get them all off. Sorry, even
or
some of the
fire
ones
them,
we like.
change the laws.
Yeah. Get them all. Make it all women. There you go.
Barbie land.
Yes. And then also make them all have fixed 16-year terms.
Okay, yes. Love those.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, some of the people that were...
That's why we should be in charge of everything.
Right? We really should.
Chris and I have
really
been saying this for years.
Oh,
We're thinkers.
just put us in charge. But yeah,
Put
people
us in,
like...
coach.
J. Michelle Childs and Allison Nathan, a lesbian. We need a lesbian up there. Allison Nathan.
Of course we do.
And Lucy Coe is Asian American, so she would be great. These are all people who are federal judges now that should be lifted up. If you're going for people that have died, RBG.
Of course. She was
I know, she was great. Ugh. Earl Warren, who was the main Chief Justice for like getting rid of like Brown versus Board of Education, like getting rid of segregation, all that kind of stuff. He was great. He did a lot of good things. And then who else? Sandra Day O'Connor. Actually, like she was. They said I feel like people say she's conservative, but I feel like she's pretty down the middle.
Pretty moderate.
And so pretty moderate, yeah. She could. I feel like she gets people to like compromise. So,
oh, yep.
Yeah, people like that.
Love people like that.
Yeah. Again, lots of women. We need more women.
We do. Yeah, do you have the lesbian? Do you have black women? Because black women
so
get shit done.
J. Michelle Childs is a black woman. She can join Ketanji Brown Jackson, Sotomayor, who's great.
Yeah,
I love her dissents. Yeah, she's great.
I do live for her dissents. One political figure you'd actually want to get a drink with.
This is it. This
Liz
is Elizabeth Warren.
Pocahontas.
Oh, I love her so much, and she truly would get a. She would get a drink with you. She loves a Miller Lite. She wants to drink a Miller Lite with like anyone.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
that's cute. She's cute.
Yeah, I mean, she is. I'm showing my millennial self, but she is the Hermione. Political Hermione of our time.
Yeah, instead of Pocahontas, we should call her Hermione.
Truly, yeah. She has a plan for everything. She's well read. She's greatly educated. She's. I just don't know why we gave up on her.
You'd love to pick her brain.
I would love to. Yeah.
Policy hill you'd die on.
I mean, if we're being for real, climate change, because we're gonna die if we don't change it.
I mean, have you stepped outside? We're already
already.
fine. I was thinking about it, and I was like, if I didn't have my house and AC, like I would just be a worm on the road.
I would have no hope.
Yeah.
I'd get like spotted in the sun.
Yeah.
It would be over. But the one I'm really passionate about is like voting rights and like proportional representation and nonpartisan redistrict, like when you redistrict stuff, make it nonpartisan, and even mandatory voting.
Girl. Yes. I believe in mandatory voting.
Yes,
I think
so.
the fine
Even if
should
you
be
just
like
go
$1.
Oh,
Like,
I think
if
it should
the
be more than that.
Oh, well, yeah, that's fine.
You don't get your
I'm being
you don't
generous.
get your tax refund if you don't go vote.
Ooh, this
That's
is
what I
strict. I like it.
Even just to go put it, like, you don't have to mark up the ballot,
right.
but just put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I like this. We should literally be in charge.
Yeah. And not just because, like, it would get, like, voting percentages up astronomically, including
There was 90 million people who didn't vote.
That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah.
And the majority of them are white. And so making it mandatory also makes all of the minority groups represented proportional to their, like, stake in the population. Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of apathy, which is more dangerous, apathy or misinformation?
I think apathy, because I think misinformation is used to make people apathetic.
Apathetic, thank you. I was going to say a patient. I'm an editor.
You knew it would be wrong if you saw
Yes.
it.
I was literally waiting on you to say it.
Yeah. So I think apathy is which is why we need to have mandatory voting, because we have apathy in Arkansas, which is why we have the lowest voter turnout rate.
Oh, but the Heritage Foundation says it's great. Because it's so low.
And there's such a good organization.
Right.
Promoting rights for all.
Heritage Foundation was behind Project 2025. They are the architects of it. So, fun fact.
Boo.
What's one issue you've actually changed your mind about?
There's a few. Some of it is like, okay, like the border, I thought that was just like Republican talking point. There are problems that do need to be solved.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Right, exactly.
Even if it's a little.
Yes. I mean, it's not, I think what I think of as the problem is not what they think is the problem.
Right,
but,
right.
What else? Like the debt. I thought that also was like Republicans being like, nah, but we can't just have runaway debt. It's getting
the big beautiful
worse and
bill.
worse. Right. Anyway, the big.
To quote Elon, it can be big or it can be beautiful, but it can't be big and beautiful.
When this comes out, it better not have passed.
I swear to God.
But the one I really think about recently is, I remember when Obama was running against Hillary in 2008, and I thought, so you have, during a primary...
Could you vote back then?
I could. That was my first presidential election. It was 2008. Yeah. And...
We're such babies.
I know we are. And so you have, like, when you win the primary contest, you have those delegates. Then you have the super delegates of, like, party insiders and stuff that they're not tied to, like, what the vote is. And so it's almost like electoral college, you know? So, like, Arkansas gives, like, you get, like, 6 delegates if you win Arkansas or whatever. But maybe there's, like, 12 super delegates from Arkansas, and they can vote for whoever they want. I always thought that was, like, Like, why are we doing this? We don't need to be doing this. It needs to be by the vote of the people. And then the Republican Party had Donald Trump dominate. And I was like, no, this is why we need super delegates who are party insiders, who were like former governors, former senators, to be like, this person does not need to be running our party. That's what happened this summer, is basically like a lot of like super delegates were like, Joe Biden doesn't need to be our nominee because he cannot win, and we need to, I don't know. That was when I feel like that's when I was really like, okay, this is why we need to listen to some, not just like people voting. Like, there needs to be some extra guardrails because someone can come in and like really, I guess, in my mind, fool people, but
we've seen it happen.
Yeah.
We've seen it happen.
So that's something really big that
Right.
I've like changed my mind about. And that we need to, I just feel like we need to redo our primary system. It's so bizarre. Like, why does...
We need to redo a lot of things.
Yeah. Why does New Hampshire very tiny white New Hampshire get to go first in voting who.
Why do they
You
get
know
to
what I
cut
mean?
in line?
Yeah.
I love this. So you've changed your mind about quite a bit.
Yeah. Yes.
No, but I have so much more like respect for like people, like just talking about, you know, who you can talk politics
Yes,
with. And like even if
yeah.
you disagree, like I respect someone who's able to take in new information and change.
their mind.
Because,
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not growing, you're not changing.
Well, especially in the past like 20 years, the parties have changed so much in like what their platforms are and stuff. And so like if you're still holding on to some kind of like, I don't know, some particular view, but then
Some
still
outdated
claim
cliche.
that you're a Republican or Democrat because of this, it's like, well, that doesn't apply to anymore. Nobody's on board with that.
This ain't your mom.
Right.
Republican
Exactly.
Party.
Exactly.
Okay. This one's funny. Who's your political nemesis, real or fictional?
Right now, it's Joni Ernst. Because you cannot...
Well, everyone dies, Chris. Everyone dies.
And then to double down in the video after, in a cemetery, I can't. I have no patience for that. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. So, her. Before that, it was that Steve King, also from Iowa.
Not Stephen King.
No, he was the like guy who said that like white culture was best and stuff like that.
Oh.
Like all of the like neo-Nazis were like, "Yay, Steve King." Yeah. Anyway, he was in the House, but also from Iowa, which Joni Ernst is from Iowa.
What is it with Iowa?
I don't know.
Get your shit straight. Get your shit together, Carol.
But he's gone. So the Republicans
good.
removed him from his committees,
good.
and eventually he got primaried and voted out. So he's gone. He's not my problem anymore.
Can I do that if I'm not?
You can, yeah.
Is it like disrespectful?
Steve King might love it. He thinks he's blessed.
No one can even see this. The camera's not even going. I don't even give a fuck. Okay.
Gosh.
Pick a cabinet role you'd absolutely crush.
I think the Office of Management and Budget.
Ooh, yes.
I'm going to manage all of the things. Give everyone...
This isn't Doge.
No. That needs to... It doesn't need to go away. It needs to return to what it was.
Yeah.
But it was like the digital office instead of the... Whatever they call it now. Whatever...
Department of...
Governmental efficiency.
Gestational diabetes.
Governmental efficiency or whatever. DOGE.
Government efficiency.
Yeah. But it was the like... Before it was like the digital office of government outreach or something. I can't remember. But they just like kept the name and like redid the mission. But anyway, but no, so the OMB gives like every government agency their budgets. Instead, you can
That's a powerful position.
Yes, you can get, which Trump is using as such, but I mean every president does. But that's how you can get through a lot of your like aims and goals in terms of like your presidency. So like you can't do this and this if you want this money. Those kinds of things. So
that'd be good for you.
And I'm just nosy. I want to be in everybody's business.
Yes. This is a dumb question, and I don't know why I left it on, but which U.S. state is secretly the most chaotic?
No, I love this question.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Okay, cool, because it's secretly the most chaotic.
Yes.
Because I would think Florida.
What?
It's obvious.
So Florida is a mess. I don't know if people know enough about... Kansas had its moment in the sun, mid-20s, like 2012 to 2017, literally known as the Kansas experiment, where they slashed budgets so much, like conservatives, we're going to lower taxes and slash all these budgets and all this kinds of stuff. And what do you know? They ran out of money. It was a very like... The government, the state government, couldn't fund schools and all this stuff. So they've retracted that. They ended it in 2017. After the governor implemented it, red Kansas elected a Democratic woman governor because his policies failed so bad. And so I just feel like Arkansas is headed down this path right now in lowering tax rates, and Oklahoma is trying to do the same. But anyway, it's not just like a Republican problem. So like Illinois, I feel like flies under the radar a lot. It's Democrat run for the past hundreds of years or whatever, but I think they couldn't grant a budget for 3 years at one time. So they were just operating without a budget for 3 years.
Oh, well, the Pentagon has failed their audit the past,
Right.
7 years.
Ugh.
So
Gosh, anyway. And New Jersey,
we
too.
don't like accountability.
There's a lot of infighting in New Jersey.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. I feel like
We
Illinois
show about
and...
that.
Truly. I mean,
Did you hear
Bridgegate and stuff.
Did you hear that they tapped Dr. Phil to host a reality show about deportations?
Because he knows all about that, doesn't he?
He's a real doctor.
Just like Dr. Oz.
Yes.
Okay. Telling people to drink like
I
teas
can't.
that make you poop your pants to lose
Literally
weight.
like the Hunger Games, but worse. It's like if the Peacekeepers had a
Truly.
reality show.
Oh, yikes. I'm not reading that book. I can't go down that path right now.
Oh,
I've heard it's very good.
I,
But...
I've made it like halfway through.
Oh, yeah.
But the games like haven't even started yet. So I'm like bracing myself. I'm about to get there.
And it gets gory, I hear the games do. So.
Ooh. Well, because it's double the amount of kids. We're talking about Sunrise on the Reaping.
Oh, yes. I couldn't even
Yes.
like think of the name. But
Yes.
yeah, the Haymitch one.
The Haymitch story.
Yes. Which I do love Haymitch, but I just can't. I'm not in the headspace for that.
I can tell you everything you need to know once I finish reading
Yeah.
it. Okay, now on to a segment I'm calling Do We Care?
Oh, okay.
This is one of my favorite things, is like to see
And
if Chris...
I'm unprepared.
Oh, good.
No, I'm just...
No, you're not. I was like, oh, yay, he didn't read this. Actually, I was thinking like, oh,
No,
did
I did
add
it. I didn't
later?
see this.
Oh,
Yeah,
you didn't see
you
this?
added it later, so.
Maybe I added it. Okay, yeah.
I'm flying
Okay,
blind.
so he really is blind. Okay, but yeah, because I
Do we
love to
care?
see if like, yeah, if you give a shit
Yeah.
about the things I give a shit about. Because things like Taylor Swift,
Right.
Chris does not. So, okay, Taylor Swift bought back her masters. Do we care?
Good for her. Oh my gosh, what did I send you today? I did send you something about it.
Yeah, it was like
All of the
her
songs trended upwards except for
one.
And I'd never heard of it before.
And it was, what song was it? I don't
Let's see
remember.
real quick.
It was.
I'm not a Swiftie enough to know. There are some of hers that I love, but she exists and she's fine, and I don't hate her. Why can't I find you? Ugh, I'm sorry. You can ask the next
you're
question.
fine. No, we're gonna wait.
Oh,
can edit
it was The Bolter.
The Bolter, which that's such a good song and it's popular. So I'm like, that's weird.
It only decreased by 1%, though.
Oh yeah, that's not but still, it's weird. That was like the only one.
I don't even know what that one is. What album's that on?
It was the one with 30 songs. So that's why you don't know that one. The Tortured Poets Department.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
It
don't
was
know.
on the anthology, which is like the extra tracks.
Oh, then I definitely don't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a deep cut.
But good for her in terms of a business move, and I wish JoJo could do the same.
Yes, okay, so that's the thing, is it's good for the music industry.
Yes.
She's the first artist. Even Elvis couldn't do it. Prince
Yes.
couldn't do it. The Beatles
The
couldn't do
Beatles
it.
couldn't. Michael Jackson owned the Beatles.
Oh yeah, Michael Jackson. Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
It's wild. Well, and Justin Bieber and other artists have like recently sold their masters. Like Katy Perry sold
Oh,
hers.
right. Oh, yeah, and I forgot about the Justin did sell his.
Yeah.
Which I feel like I saw something today that Scooter
Braun.
said that he thought that by representing Justin and Kanye West that Taylor would want to work with him. And that's why he bought her things.
Because she loves bad boys?
Thinking
Is
that she would want to work with him then.
Oh, God.
Whatever it was, I was like...
The desperation.
what?
That's a stalker.
It's
giving Christian Grey.
Also, I was like, this could have been an email. Like, you could have just asked, do you want to
You
work
could
with
have
me?
just been kinder. You could have just
That.
not been a cunt.
Yeah. Instead, you spent millions to buy her. Like, no. To buy Big Machine or whatever it was.
God, I hate that guy. Okay, Trump potentially is going to pardon Diddy. He said he'd think about it. 50 Cent says he can talk him out of it. What are your thoughts? Do we care?
I don't, but I would...
You don't care if Diddy gets pardoned? Oh my God, I need him to like go down.
I mean, I would like him not to if he did terrible things, but does that affect many other... I mean, I guess it would affect victims.
Yeah.
But...
Well, and, like, just, like, that toxicity in the industry.
Yes.
Of, like, mafia mentality.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of, like, change going on in that industry.
Yes.
It's wild.
But I would love for 50 Cent to... I would
call up Trump?
Yes. That's what I want. I do
that's
care about that.
That's what I want to see.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Studies say ChatGPT is a better therapist than humans. Do we care?
Oh, I think we should. Especially if we're headed toward a place of, like, Gen Z not going out into the world.
And then, like, talking to ChatGPT, like, sending emojis.
Yes. Like, you can't solve
chatting.
The loneliness epidemic with also not a face-to-face therapist. With a robot therapist. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
it takes real human connection.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe it does, offer some good advice, but perhaps a human therapist could utilize it as a tool while also giving you that human interaction.
Oh man, I don't know if I want my therapist to, like, consult ChatGPT. Have you seen that, like, some doctors are doing that?
Yes.
Which, like,
yeah,
I mean...
Yeah,
it can be helpful, but I don't know.
I think, this is that shades of gray. Like, things can be helpful with a tool, but we can't 100% rely on them.
Right. Like, I have heard you can put in, like, okay, say you had a fight with your husband.
Yes.
You can put in, like, he said this and I said this. And, like, it can tell you, like, oh, he's gaslighting you or this is going on. But it can't, like, really...
Eek.
You know...
Yeah. Humans made these.
There's
there
also a lot of...
biases,
and there's a lot of
biases.
Buzzwords and stuff.
Yep,
like, therapists talk on the internet.
Yep.
It's kind of like it was giving
it's
advice about
our
eating
interns
disorders.
writing that and it pulling from that and making its decisions to then give to people. Like, no shade to our interns, but
I was about to say they're great, but we're not talking about.
But they're also not licensed therapists.
Yeah. But no, ChatGPT. I did this on the podcast a while back. It was like telling people to have eating disorders, like giving really bad advice. To people go into it for, like, that's nutrition.
Awful.
Yeah, so maybe don't do that.
It's a reflection of our society. So if we want to fix our society, maybe it should not reflect back the distorted mirror of our society. It's
Black Mirror every day.
Truly.
Okay, Missouri's Supreme Court reinstates total abortion ban, overturning the will of the people.
This we should care about.
We care about.
Because this was a...
the people voted on it.
Yeah,
it was put on the
citizen
ballot.
initiative, and the Supreme Court has tried to overturn it. Their state legislator is trying to overturn it. It's just, how else do the citizens need to tell you, like, we don't want this?
How else can the citizens have a voice?
Yeah, but you say, no, we know better. No, that's a joke. That's gaslighting.
Okay, I love this one. Kristen Stewart described being a woman as a, quote, really violent experience. Do we care?
Oh.
Have you not heard about this?
No.
I sent this to you, and I was like, damn it, I actually agree with her for once.
Oh, maybe I missed this.
Let me look up the quote.
Yikes.
Oh my gosh, we send each other so much shit.
We do send each other a lot of stuff. But, I mean...
Where's Case Stew?
I'm not gonna, like, tell her that her women's experience is wrong.
Chris, do you care about the female experience? Or do you not?
I also would like to remind everyone that she is in show business, which is a very idiosyncratic section of the population. And she has had very specific experiences.
That is true.
That are highly yes and no. You know what I mean? Directly to her face.
Oh, damn. Okay. Okay, yeah. Being a woman is a really violent experience, even if you don't have the sort of extreme experience that we depict in the film or that Lydia endured, and came out of beautifully. Sorry, it's like hard to see. To be able to take really ugly things, metabolize them, process them, and put out something that you can live with, something that actually has joy, pain, and pleasure. There's a hairline fracture there. They're so tied. Women are, not to be dramatic, it's just these are facts. We are secrets. We are walking secrets. We want to see you. We don't want to hear you. Don't tell us how you feel. It makes us uncomfortable. The thing is, we're harboring a lot of violence all of the time, and it's even in the imagery we consume. The stories we tell ourselves are very, very important, and finding your fellows and being able to allow that story to evolve constantly, and that you can change every day, and that there's not a fixed state. That's what keeps us thriving, moving forward, everything. I'm not alone in that. That's how we stay alive. I just thought that was, like, beautiful.
That whole statement is, yes. I would also think that, I don't know, to me, some of the worst things aren't. That makes me think of, like, very visible, like, anti-women things have happened, and I feel like a lot of the worst things are the things that you're not even, like, aware of, that you can't, like, visibly see. There's so many, like, small things that hold people back so much that, like, we have the worst women's mortality rate in the country.
Yep.
We're on the, and if you're black, it's even worse. Like, that's an average. I think Arkansas, if you equate it to, like, a country, would be like Pakistan or something. Like, and then if you're a black woman, it's even worse. Or Latino or whatever other kind of smaller group, but...
Well, and then you wonder why we're so obsessed with true crime and murder and stuff, and it's like... Yeah, it's a really violent... So much violence is done to us, and we have all this violence in our bodies.
Yeah.
And I think it's beautiful how she's saying, like, but we, a lot of times, we put out art, and we, you know, create life, and, like... We channel it.
I don't know. It just bothers me when people are like, the U.S. is a rich, high-functioning society, but then also, like, if you look at certain aspects of it, like, there's so much we're not doing that we could be doing. That our peers, our rich peers, France, Italy, Germany, whoever else, Canada, are doing and are successful at, and we choose not to. But anyway.
It's a choice.
It truly is a choice. But yeah. That was beautifully said, Kristen.
Yeah, and I, it's no secret to Chris, but to everyone else, I really don't like Kristen Stewart. So it's a miracle that I'm like...
She's someone who has come a long way from her Twilight days, who has changed.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
We didn't like the whole cheating scandal. That wasn't cute. Okay, a woman in Georgia who was declared brain dead is being kept alive because of the state's law banning abortions. Do we care? Yes, I think it's easy to say we do.
I think we do. That's... Even without all of the background for those laws that made this situation happen, just the fact that that poor human being is, like, being put on life support and...
For, like, 9 months, or 8 months.
8 months, yeah. Whatever her... Is that against her? I don't even know if she, like, signed in a do not resuscitate or whatever her... I feel like it's against, like, her wishes, the family's wishes. Like, we need to be... I don't know.
Yeah, there's states' rights, but what about human individual rights?
Right. How can you not respect human wishes like that? I don't know. That's...
And it's... To me, it's...
And then who... You have to... Is the state going to take care of that child that they forced to...
Trauma. And to me, just as a woman, it says... You know, woman identifying as well. It says that a fetus's life is more important than mine.
Yeah.
And
Ugh.
Okay, Kid Rock blames ugly ass liberal women for failing birth rate. Do we care? In that same vein.
I think he should be more concerned with the ICE raid that happened at his bar in Nashville that took away a lot of his workers that he hired who didn't have the papers.
Oh, but he probably called on them, so he wouldn't have to pay
But now
them.
his bar can't function because they don't have any workers.
Oh.
So.
Because have you heard about people, like, hiring... people
undocumented immigrants and then calling
ICE so they don't have to pay them.
That's gross.
Yeah.
I mean, like, oh my gosh.
It's fucked up.
You know how hard it is to hire interns, to hire people. Do you want to go through that process? Right. To hire good help. Do you want to go through that process for fun to then like get them fired and have to then actually hire someone else?
It's hard work to be a greedy asshole.
That's being petty. Like, I have other things to do with my time. I have Netflix shows to watch. Than to be fucking with people's lives like that.
Podcast to listen to.
Podcast to listen. This podcast.
Yes. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about. I meant to ask you, what are your favorite podcasts? Because you're a big podcast lover.
Ezra Klein has a podcast. That I think it's just his name, Ezra Klein Show, and he interviews. He is like vocally a liberal, but critiques Democrats very much.
Good.
And
love
so
that.
I appreciate that about him.
We love a critical thinker.
Yes. I listened to JVN, Jonathan Van Ness podcast, longtime listener before he was famous, during the first iteration before it got canceled.
From Gay of Thrones, right?
Yes, from Gay of Thrones. And then he had this podcast, and then he had to cancel it because no one listened to it. And then Queer Eye came out, so they brought it back. But I will say, it used to be called Getting Curious, and that's what I loved about it, is that his ADHD brain, it would be like a scholar of like ancient China, and then the next week it would be like, why do we need the filibuster? And then the next week it would be like, what are these fat drugs, these GLP-1s? It's like it was all over the place. And now in 2025 he's refocused it and rechanged the name to Getting Better, so it's all about like self-improvement and betterment, that kind of thing. So
do we still like that?
I'm just now, like, I'm catching up.
Yeah.
So some of the things are interesting, but I think it's lost a little bit of, like, what drew me to it. But, you know, it's his choice to change his format and stuff like that.
Crazy. It's not 2016. No one wants self-help.
Oh, I know.
No one wants to improve themselves.
Well, I don't want it to sound like self-help, because it's more of, like wellness. I don't know. Yeah, that kind of thing. Or, like
Queer Eye, it's on brand.
Well, yeah, there
it's
you
on
go.
Brand.
It doesn't need to be like new resolutions. It's just like taking a pause and thinking, what have I done the past 2 months? Is this like the trajectory I want to stay on? If not, let's make some changes and I want to go this direction instead. That kind of thing.
We like reflecting.
Yeah, that. So.
And then last one, Justin Bieber trolled Hailey Bieber for her Vogue cover. Did you see this? No. You didn't see this?
The only thing Justin Bieber I see are people who are like, he's being put up there like a puppet, and he's drunk, and he's being forced to perform for money.
People act like he's literally a toddler.
To me,
like he's Britney
that,
Spears.
That like coddling of a man baby, and
yes.
like he's a perpetual victim, and we need to save him.
No, he's mean to his wife.
He has agency. He's a grown man now.
So mean to his wife.
He's
Have you heard
14.
about how mean he is to Hailey?
No, tell me.
He's just mean. Okay, so this post. So she finally.
This could be a supplemental like recap podcast of the Justin Bieber.
That's also like my dream is to like go up to people and ask them if they know about such and such. Yeah,
what's the pop culture tea about?
Yeah.
About Justin Bieber and Hailey.
Yeah, like Billy on the Street.
Who just, I saw she sold her company.
Yes, for like $1 billion.
Good for her.
Like, we love a girl boss.
Mm-hmm. Jorge owns the case that you put your chapstick into.
Oh my god. I didn't even know she had a beauty brand, to be honest. I really didn't.
Even I knew that.
I didn't.
I want to call it REM Beauty, which is not. That's Ariana Grande, isn't it?
I have no clue.
I think that's.
I know there's Rare Beauty. That's the only one
Selena's.
that I buy. That's Selena's, whom I also don't like, but I love her makeup.
But so what is?
I give her my money.
I
support a woman.
You support a woman business. Yeah. So what is Hailey?
I was gonna say in the arts.
I don't remember. She is in the arts. She's a singer.
She is. The camera's not going. She's an okay singer. What is Hailey's? Yes, so she got the cover of Vogue, and Justin took to Instagram to congratulate her, which I was shocked it was her first cover of Vogue.
Oh, that is surprising to me.
Yeah, she's like a fashion girly. Mm-hmm. Well, so this is going to be even more shocking to you then.
Okay.
So I'm paraphrasing because he deleted it, but Justin posted, a picture of her, whatever, and then was in the caption said he was so proud of her, and that one time in a fight, he told her she would never get the cover of Vogue, and he's so sorry now, and she really proved him wrong. And this is paraphrasing. This is how I remember it.
You
but
know
that
what
was
that's
the
giving.
gist.
You know what that's giving.
What is it giving?
It to me, that's his like
He's making it about him.
no, like that's how he's like Arrested Development. Like he's in the place where he came from. That I feel like he had I don't know if this is true or not. I feel like in my head he had a trashy upbringing, and he's stuck in
Well,
that.
his mom let him stay with Diddy
There
for
you go.
48 hours.
He's stuck in that mindset, just like Britney Spears is perpetually stuck in that moment she became famous. That's why she talks like she does and acts like she does.
Yeah.
It's all those, I'm going to get canceled, Southern wives on Facebook who were like, it's our anniversary and it's been so tough.
Marriage is so hard. I've
but
said
I
it's
love
hard
you
before,
anyway.
but some bitches go on and on and on.
But do you post this publicly on
I posted
social
a
media?
poem.
Right.
Because, I mean, we had, like, 6 people die.
But you don't
it was a whole
put,
thing.
like, I struggle daily
No.
trying to live
It's
with
so
you.
hard to be married.
But I don't want to live with anyone else. And it's like, the call is coming from inside the house. Get out.
I have posted that he's my shit sandwich.
No, that's different.
That's, like, cute and funny.
So he's either trying to be cute and funny, or he's, like, stuck in that, like, oversharing Southern mentality.
Well, so then he deleted it.
His
Because
publicist
people were mad.
deleted
And
it.
people were mad. And I'm sure, can you imagine being his wife? Like, I'm sure she was mad because
I
it's
cannot.
taking that moment and
Don't they
making
have
it
a
about
child?
his growth. Yes, they do.
Babies raising babies.
Yeah, no, truly.
Yeah, I don't.
So do we care?
On a scale of
Like you don't care.
1 to 10, I'm at a 4.
Yeah.
I wish him help. He has had it rough.
I feel like that's all I see is like, is he okay? What's wrong with Justin? We care about
I mean,
Justin.
he is traumatized, but
Right.
he also is an adult.
Yeah. I wish he would take the stand in the Diddy trial.
Gosh. I don't know.
We won't get into that. Save that for another day. Okay, that's the show.
That's it.
We got through everything. Thank you so much, Chris, for being here with me. Everyone, where can everyone follow you? Do you want people to follow you?
I don't do much stuff. I'm a viewer, not like a participator. The only thing that I have been doing, I don't know that I've even talked to you about this to you, is on Threads.
Oh, no, you did tell me that, like, Threads is where it's at.
It's not where it's at.
Oh, it's not?
My
Okay.
timeline is serving me some, like, no. But Mr. Musk's Threads, every day at, like, the end of the day, I've been posting. I usually go down a Wikipedia wormhole throughout the day and then click on random things and all these random topics. So I've posted, like, one thing that I've, like, searched every single day since the beginning, since January 1st. And so it's, I don't know. I think in my head, I'm, like, going to go back and look at my varied interests throughout the year. But
That's so cute.
anyway, that's the only place that I'm, like, doing anything.
I love that. So what's your handle on Threads?
Eden CJ, maybe, I think.
I can check.
Yeah,
and
EDEN
put it
CJ.
up there.
Yeah.
Or
Check
not
the,
up there,
check the
but-
notes.
Yeah, it'll be in the show notes.
But yeah, everyone needs to watch this, listen to this more.
Yes, thank you. Everyone, like and subscribe. Do what Chris says. He's Catholic.
The Pope said
Oh,
too.
wait. I didn't ask you. There was a rapid fire or something about, oh my God, where is it? About the Pope saying that marriage is between a man and a woman.
I mean, that's the church teaching.
Oh, no, it's on Do We Care. I said Do We Care.
Oh.
I skipped that one.
Well, that's the... There is a... I feel like there's, like, two camps. There's, like fundamentalist Catholic who are, like, church teaching the end. Mm-hmm. But then there's other people...
Chris is going to go to hell after this podcast.
Woof. But then there's also... I have to drive home. Oh, gosh. The way I was always taught is, like, questioning everything. by the religious people at our school. And, like, the priest also told us that, like, cursing wasn't necessarily a sin.
Oh my God, I love that.
Anyway.
It's true.
But, minus, like, a GD, like, God sniffing. But, anyway, the point is that, like, I don't know, things evolve and we have different points of understanding, and that is the church's teaching. But also, like, women probably do need to be more involved in, like, church, quote-unquote, politics and hierarchy. And anyway, but it's not surprising because that is the teaching. I don't know that they'll ever get anywhere else, but...
They got an American, but that's about as
yes,
untraditional as they get.
Yeah. But at the same time, you know, that is not explicitly in the Bible, and the Catholics don't. We appreciate the Bible for what it is, but we also know that it is interpreted through human hands. So,
period. So it's up for interpretation.
There you go.
And that's it. That's the show.
Bye.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.